Shadow Gengar is one of the highest attack in Pokemon GO, and today we're going to take a look at this Pokemon in the Great League. We're going to have a fun team here as well, with the Wigglytuff as well as Sableye, which are all kind of Pokemon with a lot of fast move pressure. And so today's video, you're going to have quite a lot of battles, I think, because we have quite a lot of pressure towards opponents. And I like Gengar a lot. I think it's a cool Pokemon. I think the issue is for this Pokemon, it's not really that great usually in the GO Battle League because it's very difficult to play. But if you know how to play it and if you get it into the right positioning, this Pokemon can be absolutely deadly, which you're going to see today in this video as well. As we're going to have here, for example, a Stud Bomb coming in against the Altaria, neutral damage. Oh wait, it's 80% gone off their health. This is why Gengar is so interesting. This Pokemon has a fast move that's Stab and two charge moves that are Stab, and especially fast as well as the cheaper charge move. They're going to do some solid damage there. Very fast, they're going to do some solid damage. You have a Sweeper here on your hands, and also we're going to try to set it up correctly here by having the other Pokemon on our team. We're going to have the Wigglytuff, which is mainly there in order to counter those Dark-type Pokemon, which you don't want to face at all. We have the Sableye, which is our glute for the team. That's going to be our face-up here for this team. As you're going to see here as well against the opponent's Go-Geist, we are going to be able to utilize our Sableye quite nice in our first battle, because what we can do is we can shield this move up, we survive with 1 HP, we can go for the foul play, and we can knock them out, or bye to the opponent's Go-Geist. And we can now move on to the next opponent, because this Empoleon is not going to enjoy the Swift too much, and we can win our first battle with this very interesting team after getting hardwalled in the lead with our Gengar as a safe stop, which is usually our closer for the team. Alright, that is now a little bit bad. Drapion actually kind of got a little bit of a resurgence recently. Like, I've seen way more Drapion than I've seen in previous weeks. This week at least, I've seen quite a few of them. And this Pokemon is quite interesting. It kind of disappeared with the Mudslap buff because a lot of Pokemon were just able to Mudslap it down. But it's still a very strong Pokemon that has great coverage for the typing that it has. So basically you have a Poison and Dark type Pokemon that has here now Awkward Tail as a coverage move, which is quite solid for itself, because Awkward Tail is going to allow you to hit like ground type Pokemon for super effective damage, which is the only type that can hit you for super effective damage, so that's why Drapion is so interesting. Anyway, we're gonna go up here against the opponent's Azumarill, and we're actually going to be able to knock them out just with the Shadow Punches. If I just went for a Sludge Bomb immediately, I would have won this battle immediately as well, or like this matchup. We've kept some more energy for later on, but the opponent didn't want to invest their shields yet, but they will have to invest their shields here with a Swift coming through from the Wigglytuff. As I try to reach another one, they're going to be able to knock me out in time. That was very smart by the opponent, but this game is not over yet. But I kind of want to still get to another move here with my Gengar. That doesn't work out, but they reveal the final Pokemon being a Drifblim. I know I outspeed them, and I went for the move here on purpose immediately because this allows me to avoid 1 Astonish damage. And this is actually crucial, because what we see here is that the opponent is going to be able to go ahead and go for a Crunch, which is going to do so much damage, but just barely not enough to knock us out. We survive with just 2 HP in the Dream, and we can win this battle with a foul play. Yet again, another victory for our Gengar. But now we face up against a Core Breaker, and it's not gonna get any better. We're going to have here the Licky against us. This is just a hard counter matchup. Corviknight is just very tough for us to deal with, but this battle itself is not over before, I don't know, like all of our Pokemon go down, I would say. As we see here, we're going to be able to go for foul play, and I'm actually impressed by the foul play damage. I did not expect that it would two-shot the opponents immediately, basically. And what we see here is we can go for another move, and I know that the opponent has a ton of energy, but they're very likely going to go for good fast move timing, and I will utilize this by swapping out into my Wigglytuff on a potential Shadow Ball, and boom, no damage coming in from the opponent, wasting all their energy, and they're going to go into their Corviknight now. Of course, this is not a good matchup for ourselves, but what we can do is we can go for the Icy Wind. So we debuff the opponent's attack a little bit, which can help us to stay on the field for a little bit longer, and might even help us with a matchup for later on with the Sableye or the Gengar. And so I can let the move go, but also I can now go ahead and go into my Sableye. At least that's what I should have done, but I didn't do. I tried to catch the move here for no particular reason. I just want to catch the move. I think it was, I don't know, there was no reason for it. But I will try my best here to knock them out with our Wigglytuff still, because we're so close to a Swift. We actually have a Swift stored already. This might be enough to knock them out. But even if not, I still have my Gengar with a shield advantage. And this is what I'm aiming for. I want to have here the shield advantage on our Pokemon. And this is exactly why I let this move go. I know I have a Ghost type against normal type now, which is absolutely not ideal, but they swap out into their Dark type. So we have 2 hard counters to our Gengar, but Gengar does not care. Look at this battle. We're going to have here still a Sludge Bomb, and I go up to the maximum amount of energy they can get before they can go for their charge move, because this will allow me to get the Sludge Bomb off here, one-shotting the opponent's Gastrodon, one of the bulkiest Pokemon with the highest HP stat, and we can still go for a Shadow Punch here, getting them low and knocking them out with some more Shadow Claws. And we can face off next against one of the worst possible Pokemon for this team. Shadow Scissor is basically unbeatable for us. Why? Because we have no bulk in the back and we have a weakness in the lead. And that is not a great circumstance for us to try to win games here. But they swap out into their Credilli, and that is even going to be worse for me, I feel like. Because Credilli itself would be able to take another hit here and they would be able to knock me out. And then I didn't really gain anything. And this is the reason why I decided to use a shield here. I need to kinda do something at least. And I will utilize my Sableye here to get a shield back from the opponent, but hopefully get this Scissor into range with my fast moves from both this Pokemon as well as our Wigglytuff now. Why they're going to Wigglytuff? Because the charge moves are not as threatening against this Pokemon, as Night Slash is super effective against our Gengar, but here it's resisted. They're forced to go for Trailblaze. But I have to hope they can win this here with Gengar. I can knock them out, but they still have a shield left. They're going to have here the Jellicent left in the back as well. I would need to get to 2 Shadow Punches in order to win this battle. But as we're going to see, we're missing out on one fast move. And even then, I'm not too sure if it would have done enough damage against such a bulky Pokemon like the opponent's Jellicent. And so we got to take our first loss here. But we are 3 games in, and that was the first one. And I don't like what I see. I see yet another Empoleon lead. And this time around I go into the Sableye, which now in hindsight I don't think is the right call. The reason why I do think that the other Pokemon is the better call is because you are going to be able to actually outspeed them after a bit, which is kind of nice. Like, you're going to be able to get to your second Shadow Punch a bit faster. And even if they go for the charge move early and kind of deny your next fast move, you're still going to be able to CMP tie after, and you win the CMP tie with Gengar. Guaranteed. But here the benefit of having the Sableye at least is that we can actually pressure the opponent's Altaria quite a bit and we knock them out. With this, we're going to realign. The issue is I don't have pressure against the opponent's Empoleon. And while I might be able to... Oh, I swap out. I keep my Foul Play. Is this the secret tech that's going to be able to win me the battle here? Let's find out. They go for the wrong move here first. That's going to be great. And this allows me now to go into, we'll say, my Gengar afterwards. And I hope I can farm them down. I have to go to my Gengar. I have to hope they can farm down. I am absolutely not... Oh, okay. Gourgeist is coming in. I have 2 Shadow Punches stored. Do I win this again? Shadow Punch is coming through, gonna get the shield. I have to just go straight, and that is going to be it for the Gourgeist. And they still only have the Empoleon in the back. And I have a charge move stored even on my other Pokemon, but Gengar. Gengar is just sweeping through the competition right now. Alright. Torterra. Of course, a terrible matchup for our Gengar, but it's not so bad for our Wigglytuff. I am going to use a shield here, and it's luckily not the... Frenzy Blade. It should have been the Frenzy Blade. It was a Sand Tomb, which is kind of unfortunate. They were able to bait me here correctly. Well done to the opponent. And we swap out at the same time. And I have now the Togekiss against my Sableye, which is actually a good matchup. It seems so weird because you might think, okay, it's a Fairy type against a Dark type Pokemon. It's so bad. But they don't actually run Fairy type coverage. And I run super effective coverage against them. So Togekiss, funnily enough, is actually a really good matchup for the Sableye, which absolutely on paper doesn't make sense. But based on the moveset that they are both running, makes a whole lot of sense. What doesn't really make a lot of sense is on how we deal with this Pokemon in particular. But they stop out into the Torterra, which is giving me the opportunity here now to maybe still have a chance. The issue, okay, they're gonna go for the bait, and this is the only way of me winning. Actually, them going for the bait there was the only way of me having a chance of winning this battle. In comes the Sableye, and I'm going to be able to get them low enough that I can farm them down. But can we somehow win against the Bastiodon with our Gengar? That is going to be the question here for this one. Is Gengar able to sweep? That looks quite alright. I'm fairly certain I'm going to be fine here because we still have that shield left, remember? And with this Shadow Punch, we can knock out the opponent's Bastion with one more fast move. And again, Gengar is honestly really not that bad. Okay, we're going to have here a matchup that I don't mind, but I don't like at the same time as well. I have the option to go for an Icy Wind here against the opponent, which does some super effective damage and drops the opponent attack straight away. Getting the shield though is even better, as I'm going to swap out into the Sableye, predicting it's going to be just a Seed Bomb. I know that I'm going to be able to take it. We have an ABB style line here, so we kind of need to swap out eventually. Why the hell do we have Manectric? We are just going to ignore that. Goodbye, Manectric. That does a nice 5 seconds on the field there for you. More you don't really deserve either, so like that's alright. In comes here the Sandslash, and I do have a positive matchup with my Gengar. The issue is here though that I don't know when they're gonna swap, and I go not straight for my move, but I go for my move here now, and I know that they would have another charge move slot, and I know that this is going to be a tough matchup. Generally, I am forced to shield here. I'm forced to shield here. They go with the Ice Punch, and just catch me off guard here with a Gurgeist, but Gurgeist is going to go for the Seed Bomb, allowing me now to get at least another fast move in, which maybe could come in clutch for me later on. I'm not too sure. But anyway, we're going to be able to get some damage in against them first, which is just going to be quite nice as well. And now it's down to our Wigglytuff. I can go for the charge move here. The Swift is going to connect. It's going to do some solid amount of damage against them. Not enough to knock them out, but too much charms will seal the deal, and we win yet again another battle with Gengar. Alright, Fortress. Horrible lead for ourselves, and I catch the move onto a Azumarill. That is just unfortunate, because of course we have the coverage for Azumarill in the rock move, Power Gem, that does some neutral damage against them. But I still think it is going to be in my best interest to keep my Sableye alive here and do some solid damage against the opponent, because this is what we need right now. We need to kind of get them low. We're going to be able to knock them low here already, and we can go for our Power Gem against the opponent as well, which is going to be able to get the ultimate KO against the Azumarill if they're going to let that move go, which they do. And now we have alignment, and now we have the Fortress against us. This is all nice, but I don't have anything to take the charge moves, because actually our last Pokemon, our Ghost type here, our Gengar, is going to be able to double resist the fast move, but the charge moves are the big issue, and in comes the charge move here from the opponent. I am forced to use a shield, and it's just going to be the Sand Dune, which is kind of sad for us. I can go for the Shadow Punch spam at least, which is going to do mostly no damage, because I felt like to go. Okay, they're not going to shield. They're going to go for the final Pokemon. It's a Bastion. Good game to the opponent. I have a 0 chance of winning this battle. Like, realistically speaking, there's nothing I can do in order to win this. And I realized as well, I just got forfeit here, and we can move on to the second to last battle. Okay, this is, generally speaking, a bad lead. I don't like the Stunfisk. I just don't like to play against it. But I think just typing-wise, we're actually in a very alright lead, because we have the Icy Wind still. But I really just don't like Stunfisk. I feel like it's one of the most annoying Pokemon to currently play against. But as you can see, we're going to be able to do some solid damage against them. And now, what's happening next? We can't just let the move go. It's going to be the Mud Bomb, and we're going to have no more Wigglytuff. And that is alright, because what I can do now is I can go ahead and go into my Gengar and farm up extra energy, go for the Shadow Punch against the opponent's Togekiss, and now, just now, I can swap out here, hopefully. Please swap out, thank you. I try to catch the Psychic move. Is it going to be the Psyshock? Or is it going to be the Aura Sphere? It's going to be Aura Sphere. Resist damage here. Of course, it was triple resisted on the other Pokemon, but they definitely did see me swapping out beforehand. But no matter what... Okay, they have Ancient Power, never mind. They don't even have the right moveset there. No matter what, we're going to be in a position here where we can just go for another shield and we farm them down. Because this was my idea here at this point. I just want to try to see on how much, like how long we can survive kind of with the energy that we have here. And they reveal their final Pokemon being the Moltres. And what this means is we are going to be able to go for the Power Gem here, which has super effective damage. I can go for any move afterwards, because what I do next is I'm just going to swap out into my Gengar, but the opponent lets the move go through anyway, so like it just doesn't matter. We can move on to the next opponent. Where we're going to have Azumarill in the lead. This Pokemon is not enjoying Swifts, but this Pokemon is very solid against at least our Sableye, not so much against our Gengar, but it's not the nicest matchup. Like, trust me, it's not the nicest matchup, and so I can just try to weaken them up slowly. Because at the end of the day, this is a neutral matchup, and I rather have this matchup here than basically along the way with our backline there. I don't really want to have the Azumarill, especially against our Sableye, But we are going to be able to either win or lose by only a few HP. And I will take losing by only a few HP because this allows my Gengar now to have hopefully some play. But what we see is that they have Manama as their Stay Stop, which means that they're going to be very good against the Gengar, but not so much against our Sableye. Sableye is a perfect answer here as well. And we can now go for another charge move against them here, which is going to allow us to get the, not the KO, just the shield from the opponent's Manama. We can go for another charge move. This will maybe get the KO. I would assume just another shield. It is going to be another shield, and we are still going to get farmed down from the opponent, which is just unfortunate as we now have here the Gengar coming in. We are going to be able to take, the foul play. We're going to shield this move up. I'm going to be forced to go for another one here. It is what it is, and as we see, we can now win this battle because they have Aegislash in the pack. And Aegislash is a cool Pokemon that I would like to try myself, and I will use actually some Rare Candy XL on this Pokemon very, very soon after the go-to event. But this Pokemon here is so weak to Shadow Punch. It's crazy. Like, we do so much damage even in the shield form. And yeah, as the opponent's Manama gonna go down here, this is gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.